Howdy y'all, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the What Sold video for February. And this episode or weekly video is going to be action-packed. I think that there is a lot to talk about. There's a lot happening in the world right now. There's a lot happening in the reseller eBay community right now. I think what everybody will tell you is that sales were very slow in February, and I think that we are all starting to see the thaw out of sales and a lot of sales coming in on eBay as we have entered into March. Particularly for me, February sucked, and I think that's mostly due to the fact that I am a niched down reseller. I focus only on selling golf clubs and golf bags, and naturally that's going to be very cyclical as we go through the whole cycle of the year. There's not a lot of people out there that are going to go and play golf in the middle of winter. It's just not physically possible unless you're going to go to an indoor simulator type of situation. But March has been the first month out of the last 3 years, every year, that I start to see an explosion in sales. I've had the most sales this past week in March that I've had all year. So things are really, really starting to take off. And it sounds like that's mostly what's happening on eBay across all of the sectors. Again, I'm a niche down reseller. I buy golf clubs, I sell them for a profit, and it's because I like doing that. I love golf. It is something that I have fallen in love with in my adult life. I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with tinkering with different clubs that are out there. It's what I like, and doing the whole reselling bit on eBay is something that I love to do. It doesn't take that much time. I love buying golf clubs. I love selling them to new golfers. I've established a really awesome community of people that watch these videos. If you are someone that wants to get into reselling, golf clubs are an awesome way to do it if you can source them in your area. But I do want to plug here Phoenix Sales 85. He's a guy that sells everything, and he's supported this channel for a very long time. And Paul is doing it the right way. He's down to earth. He's very honest. He's transparent, just like I am on this channel. So if you're somebody that's wanting to get into eBay, and I think now is a really awesome time to get into eBay, and I'm about to talk about that. But if you're looking at someone that is reselling, you name it, definitely go check out his channel. I'll put it down in the description. He supported this channel for a very long time and plugged me so many times on his channel. So if you came here from Paul, I appreciate it, and welcome to Lone Star Mulligans. But I definitely think you should go check out his channel as well, because he is selling everything under the sun and doing it very well and making quite a bit of money in doing that. With all that being said, I think there's a lot going on in the reseller community right now. There's a lot of people transitioning from eBay over to Whatnot, and there's a lot of turmoil on Reddit right now about people that are on Whatnot and scams that are going on Whatnot. And I've been asked to go over to Whatnot. It's not something I'm really, number one, comfortable doing. Number two, it's not something that I really want to do. I don't want to invest any more time away from my kids leading these online, live video auction formats. I would much rather and gladly pay eBay to have a site that's running 24/7 that people have access to, that they can go on and search for what they're looking for specifically and find out if the golf clubs that I have fit what they want. I know that there's a community to be built out there in having the live auction events, but I don't want to put stuff up for auction if it's going to sell well under for what I think the assessed value is and what the going rate is on eBay. And if you disagree with that, I would gladly welcome comments below. But I think that eBay is going to continue to grow in popularity. If we look back to the pandemic, eBay exploded on the secondhand market. The economy was kind of tough. People were trying to save money. The secondhand market really exploded as far as getting goods out to people that didn't have access to them or were willing to pay for certain things. And I think now, as we go through this whole tariff turmoil that is also affecting the economy, if you look at the cost of eggs and all that, I don't want to get political here, but what I do want to say is that in those times, eBay has really exploded in earnings and just popularity. So if you are someone that's on the edge out there that's looking to get into reselling and you're kind of nervous about it, I think now is a really great time to try, just because there's more demand, I would say, or argue, than has been there in the past, and more people potentially going over to eBay to buy different things secondhand or being resold or saved from garage sales, however you want to source or frame that aspect of the reselling game. What I have behind me is stuff that I just listed, and actually 4 items that I just sold today that I'll go over here in this video, as well as kind of a sneak peek into March. But I do want to talk about February. Last February, I grossed $525 in conjunction with January. So the 2 months combined, I only had a net profit of $525. This January and February combined, I had a net profit of $568. So I'm basically flat if you look at it year on year from what I made in January and February. March last year, I made $1,064 of net income. And this month, I'm already at 368, so I'm off to a very good pace to either match that or exceed that. But the thing that I have done this year over the winter is sourced so much more aggressively to make sure that I did have inventory ready for March when it came. Last March, I think I was underprepared. I only had about 50 items in my store. This March, I have 80 items, and I still haven't listed everything that I have my hands on. I've broken my own personal rule to make sure I do have everything at least either drafted or listed. I'm staring at about 3 club sets on the other side of this camera on the floor that I do need to get around to listing immediately, and I will do that as soon as I'm done editing this video. But with all that being said, I know that was quite the soliloquy there. I do want to jump into the February numbers and go through them very quickly, and I'll also show y'all what I sold over here over my left shoulder, just to give you an idea of what's been moving so far this month. I think in next week's video, I'm going to post a what to look out for golf club reselling, just in case there's anybody out there that wants to get into golf clubs, or you want to do exactly what I'm doing, which I definitely welcome you to do. And then also I do want to go over some nasty comments that I have gotten, just to show y'all what's out there to prepare you if you do want to get into the reselling world. So with all that being said, let's jump into the February numbers, as awful as they were, just so that we can see what's sold on eBay in the golf club world in February. Okay, looking at the month of February, I had a gross sales amount of $1,024 and a net income or net sales amount of $296. I sold 8 items in the month of February. Very, very low numbers. I sold 4 items alone today, just to give you kind of a juxtaposition of what we're looking at between February and March. My average gross per sale was $128. Average net per sale, $37.05. So average net profit margin per sale was 26% in February. All right, I'm gonna go through the top 7 sales now. I did say I sold 8 things in February, but the 8th item I only made 97 cents on. It's not anything I want to write home about, so I'm gonna save myself the embarrassment on that one. It was something that I bought a very, very long time ago. Very happy that it sold, very happy that it's getting played out there, but I made 97 cents on it, so really no point in going over it here. So with no further ado, number 6 is the Callaway Big Bertha Steelhead 7 Wood. 7 Woods are exploding in popularity right now. I bought this off Facebook Marketplace in a bag with a whole bunch of other clubs. I count the number of clubs and divide it up by what I paid for the entire set. So this one got assigned $5 to it. I sold it for $39.99 plus shipping, which brings me $11.36 in profit. It only took 4 days to sell. So again, 7 Woods, if you can get them for a really good price right now, I would definitely pick them up. It's very popular right now on YouTube Golf to have a 7 wood. Fat Perez from Bob Does Sports really started this 7 wood train, and it's become very, very popular, especially on Reddit as well. So again, 7 woods are a very hot club right now. If you see them, definitely pick them up. Moving on to number 6 is the Orange Whip full-size golf swing training aid. So this is a very heavy stick that you can use. It does have quite a bit of whip to it to help get your timing down. I bought this off Facebook Marketplace for $40. I sold it for $90 plus shipping, which I was very happy to, because this had been sitting around for exactly 6 months. I ended up making $18.84 on it, which is a ROI of 47%. I did get nervous on this one that I wasn't going to be able to sell it, so I'm very happy to see that it did go, but I don't think I'm going to be picking up any more of the training aids because this one took so long to sell. Number 5, this was one of my personal favorites. I almost kept this for myself. This was a Ping Moonlight Sunday bag. If you are unfamiliar with what a Sunday bag is, this is a carry bag that's meant to be carried on your shoulders or on your back. Generally, I would take it to like a par 3 course where you're only going to have your wedges and a putter or only just a couple of clubs with you. It's very lightweight, not made to hold a lot. I bought this at a Play It Again Sports for $52.71. I sold it for $113.99 plus shipping, which brings me $23.62 in profit for an ROI of 45%. This took literally 4 hours to sell, I think, to a repeat buyer. So I was very excited to see this go, but I did kind of want to keep it, so I was sad I didn't get to use it out there on the course. The next one up is a Callaway Apex Forge right-hand approach wedge with a Project X 5.5 flex shaft. So that's basically a shaft that has the flex between a regular and a stiff flex shaft. It's something that Project X is very proud of. I bought this from a Golf Galaxy for $21.64 and sold it for $84.99, which brings me $35.61 in profit. It took 16 days to sell, but this did have 165% ROI on it. I do like to buy wedges if they're in really great shape, and especially the wedges that are made to go with full club sets, like for this instance, a Callaway Apex set. People tend to leave these clubs around the green and walk away, and then they end up in somebody else's bag and are not turned into the clubhouse as they should be. So these are pretty desirable clubs to get your hands on. I generally pick these up more than I pick up just random 7 irons or 8 irons like that, because wedges do tend to get left behind quite frequently. So it's definitely something to keep your eye out for as well while you're out there. The next one up is probably one of the most popular drivers of all time. This is a TaylorMade M2 2017 right-handed driver. The M2 driver has a cult-like following, and there's a ton of people out there that still have this in their bag. Another very popular driver that's very close to this is the Sim2 Max. They're just, once people pick them up, they tend not to take them out of their bag. I bought this from a Golf Galaxy for $75.76, so I did spend quite a lot on it. I did sell it for $154.99 plus shipping, which brings me $38.53 in profit, which was a 51% ROI for me. Very excited to sell this club. I did pay up for it. I've been looking to get my hands on one of these just so I could hit it to see what all the hype was about, which I did get to do. These are notorious for having paint chips around the white paint to any TaylorMade club that they've done white paint on, whether it be a Spider Putter or the M2 or even the Rocket Balls drivers chipped horribly, and so they have definitely moved away from that. But this one had a lot of paint missing on it and still sold for $150, so I was very excited about that. Number 2 is this Nike Vaporfly right-handed driver. This driver was beautiful. I found this on Facebook Marketplace and I bought it for $60. I sold it for $164.99 plus shipping, which brings me $63.79 in profit, which was a 106% return on investment. I love this club. I love Nike clubs. If you know nothing about me, Nike clubs and Ping clubs are clubs that I seek out, buy, love, and it's just something that I have grown this weird attachment to or affiliation with. Nike doesn't make clubs anymore, so if you can find any of the Nike Vapor Speeds or Nike Covert or VRS clubs out there, definitely pick them up if they're out there for a good price. The secondhand market, especially for Nike clubs, is very hot if you can get them in good condition, because they're not being manufactured anymore and people want them and want to keep them, especially if they can hit them well. And the number 1 sale for February was this Ping Answer Forge right-hand iron set. This was the 4-iron all the way through pitching wedge. I bought this for $173.19, so quite a bit of money, but I knew I would be able to sell it relatively quickly. I sold it for $344.99, and it took 28 days to sell, so less than a month. I made $103.66, which was a 60% return on investment. This was a beautiful, beautiful set of clubs. The other thing that I loved about it that I didn't put in the title description is that it had jumbo grips on it, which is another really trendy thing in the golf world right now. Bigger grips tend to give you more control over the club face, or that's the thought process. They are easier to hit and potentially easier to hit straight. I think any golfer out there is laughing right now, because if you could guarantee hitting the ball straight every time, I think we would all take it. So there's a lot of gimmicky things out there right now, training aids and lineman aids and different grip sizes that could help your game. But I have to admit, I hit this set really, really well. I took it out to the range one day, almost put it in my bag, but I decided what I have in there was good enough for me and that I could make money on this. So I did decide to sell it, but I'm really happy I did. And if you're out there, iron sets are something that you want to look for on Facebook Marketplace, because it is the gateway drug to golf, right? It's the number one thing that people need in order to go out there to play. And it's really that and a putter. And you can go out there and play some pretty decent golf depending on what the set makeup is. But if you can get iron sets at a good price at garage sales, at PGA stores, I definitely suggest to do that if you're starting to get into the golf game, or if you're at a Goodwill and you don't know how or why to get into golf clubs to resell. An iron set, if you can get like a 3 or 4 iron all the way through pitching wedge, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pitching wedge, that is a complete set that will sell, even if you have to pay $3, $4, $5 per set. Definitely do your comps and look at sell-through rates, but iron sets are where you can make a lot of money very quickly if you do find a complete set. So with that being said, that is everything that I sold in February, minus the one club that I only had a 97-cent profit on, that had been in my store for 15 months. So it was time to see that club go to New York. But again, didn't want to go through it here because March is looking so good. I did want to take a moment and show y'all what I sold today. 4 items sold today. It's a little sneak peek into how March is going right now. But the number one thing that I sold is this Nike Method putter. That went today. I believe that's going to either North or South Carolina. The other thing that I sold was this really small Titleist wood. This is a very, very small head on this, very old school head. I'm into this for $5. I think I sold this for just about $20 today. And the last two things, a 64-degree wedge. Any wedge that you can find above 60 degrees, even if it is off name, so not your Payne, Titleist, Callaway, that type of club generally still does sell. They're really, really hard to come by from what I've found, but if you can find anything above 60 degrees, 62, 64, definitely pick it up. It's going to sell. And the last thing, I'm going to cover my face here. I bought this off Facebook Marketplace last night. There you go. For just $20. It sold for, I think, $69, maybe $74 today. It took less than 24 hours to sell. I don't sell a lot of bags, but if you can get them cheap on Facebook Marketplace and they're in good condition, you can generally make some pretty good money on them just selling them for $60, $70 plus shipping. If you have questions on how to ship bags, I'll put a link down below to my shipping video of how I ship all of my clubs, what boxes I use, what supplies I use, what sizes I buy in order to get shipping done. And you can try to take a stab at selling golf bags as well. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I'm a little bit sick. I'm losing my voice. March has been fantastic. I hope all of y'all are seeing the same success I am in March so far. I will see you next week for the video on negative comments and kind of trends to look out for, golf clubs to look out there for. With all that being said, I hope you have a really exceptional week, and I will see you next Sunday.